I love the lightness in the air after it rains on a summer day. It's the middle of July and the heat's been washed away so we can dance again. As my feet hit the pavement and I watch the last clouds roll away, I realize this must be what forgiveness feels like. Because I'm not just standing on a wet sidewalk. I'm standing in the promise that even if it rains for 40 days, it will always stop eventually. There will always be a rainbow somewhere, so maybe I can keep holding on. Because the lightness in the air has found its way into my lungs, and suddenly I'm singing again. Suddenly I'm speaking up for the pain we all feel but never talk about, and I'm doing it even though I always thought I shouldn't speak if I wasn't loud enough to be heard. And no one ever heard me, so I guess that's why God gave me a microphone. I guess that's why he gave me a heart that roars louder than most lions, because he knew the world would try and silence me. But the fact that he lives inside of me is the only reason I'm still speaking, because I was raised under the weight of things that were never said. And how many of you know that silence is heavy? When you're born with every buried emotion and you felt every fear, silence is heavy when all you wanted to hear was "I love you," that someone cares, that someone was still there. Silence is heavy. So I thank God that he still speaks, that he still pours his strength out on the weak, and of them, I'm the weakest because I was raised under the weight of everybody's expectations, and it almost crushed me. It almost turned me into nothing. Every night I kept wondering why it was that no one saw me. They marveled at my adaptability, but like a chameleon cloaked behind the darkness of the night, how is being adaptable any different from being invisible? Saying I know how to adapt is just a fancy way of saying that no matter what, I could go unnoticed. That I'm really good at not being a burden to you, but that's okay. Because the other day, I saw the wind uproot an oak tree from the depths of the soil, cracking the nearby pavement and disturbing the very foundation which had been growing for years. And before the wind pulled its last breath out from the branches of the tree, it stopped to speak to me and said, "Don't you see that invisible things have the most power? Wrapped up inside the mystery of the unseen, tucked inside parts of you that no one understands is a hidden strength, a secret courage that was birthed out of the heavens. If they can't see where you get your power from, then there's nothing they can take from you. So it's okay if you don't see me. I'll go on like the wind, blowing the breath I hold within on every corner of the world until the lies that have taken root inside the souls of our people become unearthed. I will go on like the wind until the concrete that has cemented walls around our hearts suddenly breaks and we can feel again, and we can breathe. This must be why I love the lightness in the air, because I was meant to blow that wind on people everywhere, on people who have been hurting, on people who feel ashamed, on people who strayed so far they can't even remember their name. I think God just wants you to know that he feels your deepest pain. And he wants me to ask, why are you living under the weight of things that have already been lifted? He says, don't you see how I pulled the sun up from under the blanket of the night? It's to show you that even if the weight of darkness preceded you, you can still be the brightest light. Yeah. He said, I can lift that burden inside you, the one that's been weighing on your heart. And I hear the same voice saying, he can lead you out the dark, and if you feel like it's been raining for 40 days, I'll show you how to build an ark. And if that starts to break, then the waters I will part. See, you thought your life was finished, but this is just the start. I know it hurt, but you can let it go now. You can forget the past things. Let's rise up on the wings he's given us. Pay no mind to all of what the world keeps yelling that you need. I promise you have enough with just some faith the size of a seed.